Hello everybody, my name is Trollmaker and this is Wargame Red Dragon. We have a match today from the BTR Flash Tournament. This is the finals. And in the blue, we have Ronin. Ronin today is using a mechanized Eurocorps deck. Worth noting that he actually has fielded a ridiculous number of planes. We're looking at 1 air superiority fighter, 2 to 3 bombers, and your SALH missile shooting tank destroying type thingy here. Ridiculously high numbers. But of course you get that mechanized for that huge infantry count, and that will count very heavily on this map. And in the red, we have his opponent, George S. Patton, who we'll just be calling Patton. Patton is actually using something rather weird. It is a mixed red motorized deck. And the interesting fact here is that he's opted to actually not get the recon units that this deck format is actually famous for. He's actually chose motorized so he can get very high veteran vehicles and infantry units. As well as some recon, I guess. And you can see he's maxed out his infantry category with some very, very high quality infantry. So he's definitely going to be using a lot of very expensive, very potent units very early on. On this particular map, it's going to be a little bit of a toss-up. Clearly, napalm units will be dominating very heavily. That Spetsnaz is going to be killer. But with so few Spetsnaz, will they be able to survive the ridiculous number of Panzer Grenadiers? Let's find out. And of course, they're playing on Wonsan Harbor. Wonsan Harbor has a few important points worth noting. One is that it is a totally linear map, directly down the middle. A lot of people like to play this as a 2v2 map, which is a rather interesting choice. There is a very large town here that is very hard to control, but will control the quick route between Foxtrot Reinforcement Point and Alpha Reinforcement Point. There's also these towns in the middle here, which will block Team Echo and Charlie. Finally, there is a third path for each side leading into Delta. It is controlled by this town here. So this is totally a map that will favor infantry very heavily, and both players have very firmly prepared for this inevitability. Of course, Ronin has participated in a ton of 2v2 tournaments. This map will be very familiar to him because a lot of people like to play this map as a 2v2 map. He played in the Wargame Cup 2v2 tournaments that happened through Go for Wargame, and he didn't do so hot in the European ladder, but he did have a lot of finalisms in the North American ladder. And to be fair, those ladders were actually very brutal. The people who kept winning these things were actually not actually that present on the ladder, and there's very little preparation time. George S. Patton, I'm assuming it's the same Patton that has been around for quite a while. Solid player, been around since European Escalation, made it to the top 66 of the 2013 Wargame Cup, and kind of vanished from obscurity, and clearly he's back here with the BTR Flash Tournament. So what did they have coming out here? No surprises at all from George S. Patton here. Gone for those solid, strong infantries that he's going for. And note, all these guys are pretty darn near max veterans. He's getting out a lot of high-quality, small-mouth units. What he's really missing here is some anti-air units. He's got the Praga, which is like a 15-pointer, but nothing really solid. And interestingly enough, he has them all kind of on this point, so he might be giving up this point. It's hard to say. I mean, this road here seems to be the quick road to go to this point. Hard to say. Clearly, the 1 point basis is what he's trying to rush for. Ronin, on the other hand, has gone for a little bit of a split here. He's got some vehicles in here, nice amount of anti-air units as well, some man pads in the back here. And he's splitting his force between 2 roads, trying to work his way through 2 points. I have to say, I really like Patton's approach here. Patton is going for kind of a blitzkrieg You know, he's gone with a whole bunch of units, gonna try and swamp the enemy, and try and go for a very, very early lead. Whereas Ronin's playing a very safe game. Not very risky at all. He's just gonna rush his forces in, try and grab some safe towns and go to it. Whoa, we actually have 2 bombers out here right now. And SE-24 as well coming out here. Now keep in mind, the Mirage does come with infrared, so we can actually fire back if it doesn't drop its bomb, but it's dropped the bomb anyway, and he's going to fire off the infrareds. Yes! Gets the shot on the SE-24. Flares do go off, so he is fine. And the Mirage is actually still in the air. He's still actually going to go ahead and try and do some more damage. And we actually have a tornado pushing him away. And, ooh, that could be a... Yes, that was in fact a loss. Does get the Sagney, though, with no damage done at all. And the napalm here is exceptionally good. Actually going to be able to block the road off of these Scots here. The Scot 2's trying to get this Alouette down in a pretty bad position here. There's also been an extra Prog rallied in last minute, which will be able to deal with it very easily. Does need to go as Proggas to the front line eventually. And look at this great micro here, using the shift right-click command here to kind of get these guys looped around. Not so much for this BTR 70. Oh my god, just barely gets out of there. And look at this, we get the Spetsnaz deployed in a super, super defensive position. This aggressive play has transformed very, very patently here for Patton, as Ronin is just moving in, trying to grab as much territory as possible. He's already got some of these Jagers deployed on the western front, and he has his Jagers being deployed in the middle as well, and he's going to slowly inch these guys up until he gets close. Now keep in mind, in this particular battle, the Spetsnaz have a huge advantage. Note on this western flank here that's mostly Commandosis. There's absolutely no Spetsnaz here, and there's actually an FJB here, which needs to stay out of the battle. There is 20 Spetsnaz trying to rush in here. BTR 70 getting gunned down by the ATGM Milans here, which is an unusual choice for this map, by the way. And Commandosis, not quite the guys who want to take on these Jagers. But having said that, the range appears to be pretty good. FJB's trying to sneak away and actually going to try and use these to pick off something? They don't actually have ATGM. Oh my god, they do. I feel so silly. They totally do. Yeah, they apparently do have ATGMs. Not good ones, of course. Nothing like our other brothers, who would be more effective and have more of a unit squad than the one. And look at this, Spetsnaz actually picking out vehicles here. Now, Spetsnaz, of course, don't actually have an ATGM. That's actually correct this time. But what they're doing is they're stunning the vehicles in place and using their fire to try and melt them away. Looks like a small little push up here by Ronin, trying to gain a little bit of ground with these vehicles. It's worthwhile because the vehicles are mostly useless. You can use them as meat. They can do a little bit of damage to infantry, but they don't have a crazy trade rate like anti-infantry vehicles have in other games. In other games, when you have an anti-infantry vehicle, it's like the anti-infantry vehicle just kills. And in this game, they kind of just are a little patter away kind of thing. And as you can see, with a large number of them, slowly getting down to the infantry total, and not trading cost effectively at all, by the way. Jagers should be moving up relatively soon to try and capitalize on this position. The Commandosi very low, and here we go. Jager has in fact moved up. And Commandosi actually totally gone by this point. And there's a Martyr VTS-1 mixed in the pack here. Martyr VTS-1 is exceptionally good at taking out these vehicles. He does need to move his vehicles away, however, because this Commandosi can seriously mess things up. And ooh, there goes the Martyr VTS-1. Gonzo. And looks like we have a ROM moving into a bad position. The ROM, of course, is a radar-guided anti-air system. Part of this mixed Redfor deck that we're seeing here is that they're able to get a lot of units from a ridiculous number of nations. Like the ROM is, one of these non-pact Soviet nations. Non-Soviet pact nations. The one that sounds like not safe for work, but it's not the same thing. And yeah, these high-level Commandosis are not really paying off. Not really the way they should be. Looks like we had some napalm here. And these Spetsnaz are actually not being as aggressive as they could be. Given that this is an anti-infantry area, they could be pushing up very effectively and just kind of pushing through. ROM actually getting some shots off. That's kind of surprising. I thought it would just die. But it looks like it survives to lay off 5 rounds of shots. That's a little crazy. And Commandosi's getting some good shots on some Martyr 1s, which is actually very worthwhile. Jagers should slowly clean this up with relative ease. Note the Jagers are only 4 veterans, the Commandosis are actually full on 5. Huge difference in terms of damage, crits, those sorts of things. And looks like we're seeing a little bit of a lull, which is always good. Both players have moved to capture their reinforcement point, which is worth 1 point milking, which Ronin has. Looks like Patton a little bit slow to deploy through his Scott Zap. And do we have more commands coming out for the middle areas? No, not yet. Not yet. Looks like they're going to continue fighting for that. And this reinforcement point is faster for something, but what it is faster for is not all that clear. We should slowly see people trying to creep forces into this harbor side area here. This map is a little bit weird because the original one, I'm pretty sure had naval in it. But this one, they modified it so heavily. And looks like we're seeing a sneaky Ronin here in the woods. We're going to try and deploy a few infantry in the woods with some vehicles, and maybe try and get behind those enemy lines. Infantry, of course, very hard to see, but he might get caught pretty early on. There is a MI to earn Zimija. And that's going to actually find all this stuff, and he's going to be able to prepare properly for this now. Yager getting a huge level up there. And ATGM close range shots on BTR 70. This is not good. BTR 70 is actually something that kills infantry super effectively because of its very high range. But in this particular instance, it looks like it's going to get mopped up. Motschutzen's getting deployed with only 3 men. Oh, just not good. Jagers need to get on top of that stuff. And whoa, we actually have the Zimja firing a ridiculous spread rocket cluster. That's just a little weird. Just before the Zimja does in fact go down. And Motschützen should go down, taking on the anti-tank infantries here. Runs away. Oh my god, BRDM HJ73. This is one unit you'll never see. It's very cheap though, which is so good. It's a total throwaway unit. 6 rockets for 15 points. I would make that trade any day. Roland actually just going to sneak through here. Completely not taken for granted by the Motschützen. And looks like this Delta base has basically been secured by Ronin. That's actually a huge deal. Because that's really the only one that's up for contest. And now for Patton to get back in this, he actually needs to clear through here or through here, which is very, very difficult. And so far he's playing too passive. I mean, his deck type, what he's been playing with, a motorized deck, a lot of people associate motorized with recon. That's a recon deck. And that's actually not the case. Motorized decks are actually fast action groups. They're a vanguard. They're supposed to be super fast, deployed. They're rushers. And he hasn't been using it to that effect until now. The Spetsnaz are moving up, and we should see them become insanely effective. They are one of my favorite units in the game, just because they are so multifunctional and good. And already he's running out of napalm on one of these guys. Yager's running away here, realizing Spetsnaz is kind of trouble. We might see bombers? Yes. We kind of knew the bombers were coming. Hopefully Patton knows the bombers are coming and he's got his eyes on the prize. Yes, Spetsnaz splitting away. Is it still good? Look at the size of the amount of napalm. Actually going to napalm his own units here. And Spetsnaz super quickly get away there. That's the fast action group that we're looking for here. Commandos, he's trying to take on these Panzer Grenadiers, all the while also trying to shoot at these Martyr ones, or maybe the Martyr ones are shooting back at them. I don't know. That's pretty crappy. So, it's going pretty good for Ronin here. Patton decided to grab the Charlie base and bleed out Ronin a little bit. Ronin's going to have to get another command in here sooner rather than later. Doesn't look like he has one just yet. But we do have some Jagers running behind enemy lines. Now keep in mind, he's kind of aware this is here. He's got some of these ZSU-57-2, I believe they're vehicles, because there are no tanks at all in the motorized deck that Patton has gone with. And that's one of the huge limitations of using one of these motorized decks. And this Jager is going to be able to get pretty darn far. Stunned so far. Will we see it get pitter-pattered away slowly? One more shot taken off. And keep in mind, these are only 15-point vehicles. The Jager is 10 points. This trade can go very, very poorly. But it looks like the Jager will in fact die out here. Motschützen will catch some Panzer Grenadiers here. And this may completely shut down the small amount of aggression that we've seen from Ronin here. Will need to capitalize on his advantage very soon by getting out some commands. And whoa, we actually see a command at Delta, and there we go. So he's actually just neutralized the advantage that Patton had established, and he's still quite in the lead. Worth noting, this Machschützen could be dangerous. You can wipe out this Panzer Grenadier. There are some Jagers joining in, so it's not like he doesn't know it's coming, but there's a lot of randomness you just can't expect, you know. And we'll see how it goes from there. Spetsnaz are getting pitter-pattered away by a combination of vehicles and infantry here, and actually being forced to retreat once again. It's just never, ever going to be good. We might see some more Kolos coming in here to restock these Spetsnaz. He wants to keep them alive because, on top of being a very good unit, those are high veterancy units. You want to keep those guys kicking. Same thing with these Commandosis, and this high veterancy strategy, this high expense unit strategy might not be working out just because he doesn't actually cover that much territory with what he has, and he doesn't have a lot of units left. All because they're so freaking expensive. So just poking in there with the Spetsnaz, trying to get a shot off, and it looks like he's going to try and weaken them through fire. The Spetsnaz do deploy fire grenades. Is that what they're called? Napalm grenades. There's some sort of flamey grenades that will land on a very, very tiny area and burn away. So if you can continue microing like that, you can actually wipe out a fair amount of units without having to use much yourself. And mortar is being deployed here, not a surprising choice here at all. The mortars do very well against the infantry. You can do a lot of stunning action. And we're actually seeing a push up here of Panzer Grenadiers, supported by these mortars. The mortars, most importantly, maybe most importantly, is just a little overzealousness of it all. But the mortars rape morale. These guys are panicked. These guys are shaken. These guys won't be long before they're panicked. And if you can deploy those mortars on the infantry will actually fall apart. And morale is just such a huge part of the game. Once they lose their morale, they become mostly useless. And Spetsnaz trying to escape, trying to do that little bit of fire micro there, just drop some fire and run. Not going to work out though. The Panzer Grenadiers just have such great range, and the mortars are pushing them off as well. Spetsnaz will survive the fight another day, and we see 2 more Spoo 70s coming in here, possibly more Spetsnaz, which is really the only unit they have. No, it's actually going to be 20 Machschützens here. Kind of weird. Machschützens are your multi-purpose unit, of course, and they're kind of you know, your frontline guys. The Spetsnaz, if supporting from the side, can help destroy a lot of stuff. The Spoos looks like they're going to have their day in the sun here, and oh, here we go, Machschützens, and whoa, we have some fire damage here? What's going on here? Looks like 1 down. Rolling just so freaking good. And yeah, oh, there we go. That does it. So, we have a victory by Iceman, using a very, very potent, powerful tactic in which he had pretty well map control by using a lot more cheaper units to hold very strategic points. Patton will have his day in the sun again. We'll have to watch this match very, very closely, as they could easily meet each other in the next BTR Flash Tournament, which will be a 2v2. If you guys want to join the BTR Flash Tournament, and potentially, if your match is good enough to be on this channel or some other one, definitely go to the BTR Flash group on Steam. You can find it in the description of this video. As well, if you'd like to see an amazing match from the tournament, co-casted by Captains and Rangru, definitely check out the video right there. Thank you guys for watching.